Evening, everyone, and welcome to one more episode of Ad Club's Vice and Versa, the power of open debate. Okay, let me actually rephrase it a little bit. Maybe the power of civil debate. We all have contentious issues, we have opinions of our own, and we want to talk it out. But unfortunately, thanks to electronic media, the kind of debate which has started entering our houses are slightly uncivil in nature, and also in social media. Very often it degenerates into some kind of quarrel or slightly uncivil form of exchange of opinion. So at Ad Club, we decided it's very important to have the power of civil debate back in the society, because hopefully we live in a civil society, and to enjoy each other's opinion, to have an open mind and listen to ideas, listen to stories, listen to anecdotes which actually bring life to those ideas. And tonight is one such night. What we have today is a topic which I think all of you who have logged on can possibly speak for half an hour just like that, and you will have very formed opinion. So we have got two speakers, Shashi and Boria, who are very well known in their fields, and Gautam Bhimani would be moderating the event. So tonight, we are going to listen to their points of views, their anecdotes, and hopefully all of us are going to have an excellent time. I would like to take this opportunity to thank United Breweries and Kingfisher to be the sponsor of this evening. And my heartfelt gratitude to Rana Barua of Havas and Devabrata Mukherjee of UB to put this evening together, and of course the support of Bipin Pandit and the entire team of Ad Club, who worked tirelessly to put this event together. Once again, I want to thank all three speakers, Shashi, Boria, and Gautam. Hope that you have, I hope you will all have a very good time, and I hope to see you more often in Ad Club platforms. And to the audience, look forward for more such evenings where we bring to you the power of civil debate, the power of exchanging idea without being personal and nasty to each other. So here is to one more evening of Vice and Versa. I would like to hand over now to Rana Barua, who will introduce the speakers, and after that the evening will start. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining. I hope all of you will have an excellent time. Rana, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Partha, and good evening to all. Well, we are all set for probably a very exciting 1 hour. I will take a few minutes just to introduce the speakers. Before that, I hope all of you are healthy, everybody is safe, and of course, a big thank you for taking out time and registering and logging in today. Last year, we had two very, very successful debates. We were extremely excited with what we saw as an impact, and this year we said, why not start with something very special, which is very close to all of us, as Partha said, something which we could be civil about as a debate, and we could enjoy this debate. So we have two very special speakers today. So on one side of the ring, we are going to have Boria Majumdar, and on the other side, we will have Shashi. Both pretty much big stalwarts in our business, very much well-known people who are very, very well established. Shashi, who's going to be speaking for the motion and will be talking for the conversation today, is CEO India IPG Media Brands and probably one of India's most respected and well-known leaders. And standing on the right side, today he'll be sitting from the right side, is Boria Majumdar, who's also extremely popular, a well-known sports journalist, historian, and an author. And as they go face to face, I am very fortunate that I'm not the one who's moderating it. It's being moderated by a very dear friend of the ad industry, a very charming man, an author, a broadcaster, and a cricket junkie himself, Gautam Bhimani. Gautam, it's all yours. Hope you have a lovely evening, and thanks everyone for joining in.
Thank you so much. We have to, of course, battle with technology. My first three words were muted out, and here we thought there could only be games played between two speakers. One, when you have other traditional debates, everyone is present. Here we are having a debate under very different circumstances, by virtual means, but still we've all come together in a sense on one platform. So the only way you can get at each other is if you know the guy who's in charge of tech, and you can make sure your speaker, your microphone is muted, as mine was for the first 3 seconds when I spoke, until I saw there was an instruction that said, please unmute yourself. So that is not an instruction for all of you out there who we'd like to thank for registering, for joining in, for being a part of this, because it's not just about three of us. It's about not, again, just the entire Ad Club fraternity, but all of you who are cricket fans, sports fans, and generally fans of good conversation in general. So all of that we hope to encompass over the next few minutes right here. We've already had an introduction and a few instructions that were thrown in to the boxing ring in a sense, but we would like to essentially say it's gloves off for the moment. Not too many rules and regulations, civility of course, but within civility will come the power of words to try and match each other. So let me just throw down the gauntlet before we meet both of our speakers and sort of set the trend, if I may. India is a secular country, and here we are. I might be sitting in one part of the country that happens to be having what we call elections, or we like to call elections, part of our democracy. And as part of secularism, we have many religions in our country, be it Hinduism, Sikhism, Islam, Zoroastrianism, and of course, cricket. It's not an exhaustive list, but cricket, whether you like it or not, is one of those religions. And many of its participants are demigods and gods and are worshipped. And that sets the tone for the evening, as it were, which is, there is no life beyond cricket in Indian sports. That's the proposition of the house. And I've got my two distinguished friends to be talking on opposite sides of this particular motion. In a few moments from now, it's going to be trying to refute the motion, which will be Boria Majumdar, who of course has been a stalwart, both for and against, involved in every possible sport. But to start things off, for his opening remarks and to fire the first salvo, if you might, is Shashi Sinha talking about cricket and the fact that there is no life beyond cricket in Indian sport. Shashi, all yours.
Thank you. So thank you, Gautam, and looking forward to debating with Boria. So here goes. So as far as I'm concerned, this topic needs like minor modification. There's no life beyond cricket in Indian sport. I would say there's no life beyond cricket. And the reason why I say twofold. One is today is International Sports Day, so I would not want to take on other sports the way they are. But more importantly, I genuinely believe the debate will be more meaningful and really will be a debate if we talk of there's no life beyond cricket per se. But be it sports, be it entertainment, be it anything else. Let me tell you why. So if you look at 2020, which was a rough year for all of us, for the country, for the world, health was an issue, physical health issues were there, mental issues were there, economic issues were there. 4 months, 5 months, this country was in a state of panic and paranoia. And what turned around the mood of the nation? Come September, of course, the pandemic also reduced, but there was cricket, there was IPL, and it turned everything around. So if you see the sentiment of IPL, it just changed the situation. Let me throw some numbers at you. 40 crore Indians watched IPL. It's a huge number. Nothing is parallel. There's no comparison for anything else. And in case it's not stuck home, look at the Prime Minister's address during the course of the pandemic. He made 5 addresses which are vital. 197 channels covered those addresses. And he got a total audience of 20 crore Indians. So IPL was far, far bigger and higher. come to the fact that if you look at other programs, you may ask, and I'm not talking about the sports, I'm talking of entertainment. The biggest properties on Indian television were Indian Idol and uh, Big Boss. They got ratings of 1%, 1.5%. Cricket, IPL, key matches like Mumbai Indians, CSK were 10 to 11 times that, 10, 11%. So that's on the audience side. And the final thing which actually surprised me, I also didn't know, was if you look at Google Trends for the full year 2020, what was number one? You would expect the pandemic to be talked about more. The pandemic was the full year, 9 months of the year it was there. It was not, it was IPL. It actually shows not only the power of cricket, but also shows the positivity Indians wanted, and which is what it's all about. Let's come to the business side of cricket. So again, because of the pandemic, 5 months was a mess. Advertising, the economy was in a bad shape. Advertising spends came down to 30% by 30, 35, 40%. Of course, they started turning around because of the season. But look what happened when IPL came. It changed the sentiment totally. So from a situation where there were 30% less spends, IPL was sold out even before the first ball was bowled in Dubai. Not only that, it was bought at a price which was a 200% premium compared to other television rating, which is about minimum 200%, if not higher. And if you ask me, today the IPL is a 45,000 crore property, and this is a 6 week property. I'm sure some experts who are good at valuation will see, compare it with companies which do a turnover over a full period of year, and will come to the conclusion that probably IPL is in the top 10 if you compare with the market capitalization of other countries. So it has become such a big property in India. But all that is irrelevant. To me, the final thing, Gautam, which you said in the beginning, is what matters. Unfortunately, this country is being divided on many, many fronts. It's seen a lot of problems. The pandemic, the migrant labor, it's seen all kinds of negativity. It's seen politics, which is divisive. It has seen religion. All kinds of issues are there. If you see social media is full of it. The one thing which unites, other than Kingfisher, is IPL and cricket. So I rest my case. Over to you, Boria.
Thank you so much, Shashi. I like the way you stuck in the unification factor and brought in Kingfisher very subtly, whether you think of it as the bird or anything else. That I'll leave all of you to decide. But yes, we've had the opening remarks, and I'm not going to be a stickler here on time because we know that it's going to take a little used to getting one person speaking and the other person not speaking over at the very same time. So that's something we get used to. It's almost as if not honking on the street. So that's the way, the manner in which we'll conduct this. But Boria, you've heard the opening remarks. I'm going to throw in one more at you. There was a T-shirt which I was almost planning to wear today, but because I've worn it so often, it's faded out. It says, "Cricket is life. Everything else is just a game." So for you, it is what we think of at the moment as just a game, and that's in your able hands.
Thank you. Thank you. First things first, Shashi is a class act. But being a class act, I did not know he was a rabbit. He decides to close his eyes. I did not know Shashi Sinha, who's a leader of our industry, is a misogynist. I did not know that Shashi Sinha, who leads us and someone I look up to for advice and every kind of guidance, will want to say that half of India is not even within the purview of what he calls a game. Women do play the game, Mr. Sinha. Women do play the game. The national team does play the game, Mr. Sinha. The national team does play the game. I did not hear India's victory against Australia. I did not hear about our women at all. Where are our women within the ambit of even the IPL? The WIPL is still 4 games, still 4 in the last several years. And if you see the way the BCCI treats the WIPL, we will know whether it is IPL. चलो आपको दे देते हैं. IPL, I agree. Is IPL equal to Indian cricket? The jury is out there. IPL is equal to spectacle. Ranji Trophy is Indian cricket. There are 2 crows, 2 dogs, and 1 cat which goes to watch a Ranji Trophy if that is played. On other days, other occasions, the Ranji Trophy gets cancelled because the BCCI doesn't want to do it. The women's team does not play international sport for 1 year between March of 2020 and March of 2021. They are a cricket team, Mr. Sinha. They also wear blue. Yes, the IPL Brutus is an honorable man, but is IPL equal to Indian cricket? I am sorry, it is not. The Indian national team, and you gave me some stats, I will give you some. Sanjog Gupta, the head of Star, tells me, अरे यार टेस्ट क्रिकेट तो कोई देखता ही नहीं है. So what if India is winning in Australia? And he actually is right, because Mr. Sinha did not even mention that we had the greatest of year with the Indian win in Australia. We've beaten England. Was he talking about cricket? He gave me multiple examples of IPL. So yes, Mr. Sinha, we love our IPL. We always loved our spectacles. We always loved painting our faces, going there, jumping up and about and bandying and tom-tomming our IPL tickets. That does not show that we love our cricket. If we did, Test cricket would be played with people, and it's the case in Australia and England. In our country, it's still in empty grounds. In our country, no one watches the women's game. In our country, no one watches the Ranji Trophy or domestic cricket. That's as far as cricket goes. Now coming to Olympic sport. Come this July and August, I am sorry, IPL at best is a domestic competition. This whole country, when PV Sindhu won the Rio Silver, the whole country, and that is still the most watched women's event in 2016. When we have a para revolution and our para athletes win gold and silver in Tokyo, and let me make a prediction here at the Ad Club platform, we will have 15 medals at least. 4 in Rio, 15 in Tokyo is what Boria is predicting. If that is the case, that's a revolution. There has to be a structure. Last week, there was a World Cup. Last week, and that World Cup in Delhi, India won 15 gold medals in shooting. So much so that the government has decided to invest multiple crores in simulating a similar range that they will get in Tokyo. After Virat Kohli, and here's Mr. Sinha, who's got the maximum number of brands in India? PV Sindhu, not a Rohit Sharma, a PV Sindhu. Who has the maximum number of, okay, let's go social media. Let's check the trends on social media when an Olympic happens. Mr. Sinha, let's give this to you. IPL is the only thing that you relied on, and I will give it to you for the next 50 odd days. I will watch IPL. I will consume IPL, but that is not equal to Indian cricket. The Olympic sporting platform is 200 times bigger than our women's game. Sadly so. Look at Australia. That's where you need to get to if you love your cricket. My last minute. That's where you need to get to if you love your, if you really, really love your sport. The Virat Kohli-led team, when it goes out there in England to win the World Test Championship, that's what you need to watch if you really want to know Indian cricket and follow Indian cricket. By simply following IPL, what are you in fact doing? You are actually destroying the edifice of Indian cricket, because only 8 franchises, 15 players each, 120 people get to play. And the total number of cricketers in this country, age group of 13 to 15, 15 to 18, 18 to 21, 21 to 23, and the senior people are clearly outside the ambit of your arguments. I rest my case with the simple point. IPL, people watch because India wins. Frankly, it is not even the standard of international cricket. When I wear India, when 205 nations march in Tokyo, that is what my country will stand up to and believe we have made a statement. That's where all of us are united. Frankly, are you even bothered, Mr. Sinha, whether Mumbai wins or Delhi wins? I don't give a damn. I commentate on the match because it gets me my money. But when India wins in England, when India wins in Tokyo, when Sindhu wins, Anand wins, Gopi wins, Sushil wins, Vijender wins, Abhinav wins, we speak one voice. And that is where the toxic television debates that we watch at 9 p.m. are kicked out of the window, and our prime time is taken over by sport. It is the only salve for a troubled nation, and it's not restricted to the IPL.
Well, we did expect that. We did expect a very eloquent, a very tough comeback. Of course, it was a slightly different route. It was, yes, the Olympics, but it was also within the game of cricket and which part we see. So I'm going to keep this going. And Mr. Sinha, if I could use Boria's very respectful moniker for the moment, and I'll keep on with the misters for the moment. I'd like to just add one more thing, and this is for both of you, really, to pick up from there. Since we mentioned about the Prime Minister and we mentioned various things, yes, I think there are people here who are aware of India's contribution in the purer form of cricket. Nirmala Sitharaman, Finance Minister, during her budget speech, talked about a lot of things. And she loves to give examples from mythology and from different walks of life. She mentioned the Gabba. She mentioned India's victory at the Gabba as a morale booster for the nation. So yes, there is IPL, but Shashi Sinha, there is also other aspects of cricket that can perhaps continue to make sure that the motion remains alive, that there is no life beyond cricket in India.
Yeah. Thank you. So thank you, Boria. I mean, firstly, disclaimer, as a sports lover, I couldn't agree with you more in terms of the desire of where India should be in sports. Unfortunately, as advertising and a media person, there's also a reality, and it was a lead on. So absolutely right. I gave the IPL example in the beginning, in the first part of the motion. Now let me give you the cricket example, which you alluded to, and it's tragic. And I say this with the open mind, it's tragic, the example, the numbers I'm going to put out for you. Keep IPL aside. If you look at cricket today, of course, is played a lot more than anything else which you mentioned. The reach of cricket on television is 92%. That's the number. Yeah. The reach of all of the sports put together is under 10. So that's the gap, So, and I'm talking now cricket. I'm not talking IPL alone. I'm talking everything put together. Second point, and which is really the tragic. So, like I said, as a sports lover, you hear what you're saying, especially the point you made about Olympics. I'll come to that. And the point is that, you alluded to the women's league, which is just 4 games. Just 4 games. Can you believe it? That the ratings for those 4 games were higher than anything else in Indian sport other than Kabaddi. The Kabaddi league which is played. So again, I mean, I'm not saying it with pride. I'm not saying it to win a debate, but I'm saying it, I'm putting facts out for you. Now for advertisers, for the financial side, the business model to come in, obviously it will not make sense, So if it comes in there. So needless to say that as far as the passion is concerned, yes, I'm very happy to note that you're saying there'll be 15 medal winners at the Olympics. So we'll be delighted, as a proud Indian will be delighted. Having said that, I keep repeating, when we are wearing the hat of a media person and our clients are putting money investment into it, finally they're looking at eyeballs, finally looking at stickiness, and all the numbers. Unfortunately, whether it's television, due to some social media numbers of individuals, but in aggregate numbers, they're all totaled up to far, far higher. There's no comparison. That something needs to be done. I have absolutely no debate on that. And I genuinely believe that, yes, the pride which comes from India, the bash there when someone picks up the gold at Tokyo is immense and superb. And I'm sure brands will exploit that. But having said that, the track record is cricket is one country, one sport where India does so well consistently. As you correctly alluded to, what may happen and hopefully will happen in England when we play the World Test Championships. So unfortunately, the numbers stack up differently, my friend Boria.
Well, fair enough. I think we've seen both sides to it, but I'm going to pick up on one person, Boria, that you mentioned, and certainly we're all fans, and it's one of those situations where we're trying to put things in perspective rather than knocking one person or the other. PV Sindhu, wonderful example you gave as being behind Virat Kohli, but ahead of so many other possible sports persons in cricket and in other sports. But you have to also see the route that it took for her to get there. For many cricketers, it's not necessarily the image and the tattoos and everything that get them there. It's firstly being a cricketer that already keeps you 10 steps ahead. Then you add a bit of success and it's there. PV Sindhu had to reinvent herself time and time again. She got the success, of course. You cannot get it without success. But in an advertising platform, there was an image change, a very deliberate image change, after which everything started following. So the amount of effort that needs to be put in for that to happen, for those 15 medals to come, for the Olympics to be a success, is manifold. And that is where it translates back, Boria, into brands wanting to get involved with cricket. That's an easy payback versus this, which is an optional payback, maybe.
So if it's an optional payback and if it's the harder route, what is the problem? Let it be the harder route. I mean, I will say that if I was born to Mukesh Ambani, it would be far easier for me. How does it matter to me whether I'm born to a Mukesh Ambani or I'm born to my father and become an intellectual? It might be the harder route. If you are born to Kishore Bhimani, I will know that you will be a good speaker. If I am not, how does it matter? See, the fact of look, my hard work is actually much more sweeter. PV Sindhu got there. Did you actually encash PV Sindhu's Olympic medal? Yes or no? The answer is out there. If PV Sindhu gets there, why did cricket get there? It got there because of 1983. The hockey team got there 1975. There was no TV. So what is the motion? There is no life beyond cricket. Of course, there's life. So if PV Sindhu gets there, there's life. If Vijender Singh gets there, there's life. If Gopi Chand gets there, there's life. If any number of sports, if Mary Kom gets there, there's life. You think Bollywood, which is completely commercial, would have done a biopic on Mary Kom if she was not, commercially viable and exploitable? What are we talking about here? Last year, Shashi gave the examples of the 4 women's games showing, equal to more eyeballs. At that point in time, there was nothing to watch. There was no sport. All the Olympic sports were cancelled at that point in time. Had there been Tokyo, look at Tokyo's ratings this year round. Look at what will happen with Paralympics. Look at okay. Now to 2 figures. And this is not me talking. This is the Shooting Federation talking, figures out there. Gopi Chand talking, figures out there. Till 7 years back, in a mixed doubles competition, age group competition, India did not have 50 people to participate. So Gopi tells me we would have to scuttle or cancel. Today, the first competition that you hold, yesterday they got cancelled because of COVID. The first competition that you hold, you will have 3,000 entries. 3,000 kids wanting to participate in an age group, translate that to the senior category. In shooting, there were 1,000 people. Mehuli Ghosh, last week in a press conference in Calcutta, there were 1,000 people participating. Today, in any shooting competition in India, there are 10,000 plus entries. Now, you mean to say these 10,000 are not Indians? They are not aspiring to greatness. They do not want to have a share of that pie. They don't think that sport is viable. Are we talking the majority? Fine. Cricket does sell in India. IPL sells in India. What's the problem? Is there life beyond cricket or not? Of course there is. Is a Vishwanathan Anand a star? A Pulela Gopichand a star? A PV Sindhu a star? A Vijender Singh a star? Name our Olympic medals. And Abhinav Bindra sits there on that perch alone. Even today, he is one of our greatest, and we will forever celebrate him as one of our greatest. Is there life beyond cricket? Of course there is. Now you will come and tell me, you know what? In England, football is popular. So what? Of course, football is far more popular than cricket in England. But does cricket exist? Do you have crowds at Lord's? Do you have a full stadium at Lord's? Is there viability of that English game? Will people go and watch women's sport? Of course there will. So you mean to say, are we a multi-sporting country? Yes or no? One can be popular, more popular and less popular. That is not the argument nor the subject. The subject is very clear. There is no life. I am saying 100% there is life. There is ample documentary proof there is life. There will forever be life. And let the Olympics come. Last year when the women's games happened in November, wrestling cancelled, shooting cancelled, boxing cancelled, Olympic sport cancelled. Let there be Tokyo and let us get the figures at that point in time when there is a gold medal winning effort. Okay, and we will then compare notes. To prematurely say that our country will not celebrate, even if we win an Olympic gold, how does it matter? Fact is, when Sindhu happened, and it happened prime time, I was covering it, it was 9 p.m. India. It was the most watched event in this country by a country mile. And when she came back, her rate was 5 lakhs. It went up to close to 1.5 crores. And I don't need to say it. Shashi Sinha knows this better than me. So if hard work translates into money in Olympic sport, perhaps a little bit more hard work, a lot more hard work. What's the problem? We Indians don't shy away from working hard. We Indians shy away from myopic views like the one that has been proposed here by the proposition. And my final point, my moderator is a self-confessed cricket junkie. That's the title that our one of our introducers gave him as well. And that's what he writes, even in his social media account. There is a term called conflict of interest. Leave it at that.
Well. I love it. I was just waiting to receive a ball either outside the off stump or a good bouncer, and I'm glad it came. I'm sorry it had to be a cricketing analogy, but it's the first thing that came to mind as a junkie. But well done, Boria. We thank you for that, and certainly we all would like to celebrate. The real question is, do we have enough to celebrate? And that's what we are trying to put out there. Yes, if you look at the line literally, of course, you can say there is some life, but the point of having multi-religions, can we get there? You know, we talk about the pen and the sword. Is there a time when the javelin or the racket or the hockey stick will be mightier than the cricket bat? Is what we'd like. In New Zealand, rugby is a religion, cricket is a religion, sailing is a religion. All three get, I mean, yes, it's a small country. We cannot compare it. But wherever they do it with religious-like fervor. So, Shashi, I'll come back to you with that. Boria mentioned a few of those stars. And, you know, Milkha Singh, a Dhyan Chand, a Saina Nehwal, a Geeta Fogart, a Mary Kom. One of the things we find common to names like this is, yes, they all have biopics, but the question is, for some of the cricketers, they're as big as Bollywood stars themselves. So is that what we're dealing with, Shashi?
So actually, you know, while Boria speaks well and makes it case, if as a sports lover, you can't argue with what he's saying. But the numbers show different, you know. And the numbers, now let me correct. So numbers not only in terms of ratings, like I said, so in the entire rating mechanism, while he said there's no sport, I was not comparing, I was comparing like to like. So if you see, can you think about it that, you know, the number 3 sport to be rated is the women's, nothing against the women, but the four games which were played by the women's IPL, only Kabaddi was higher. Look at sponsorship. I mean, look at the financial part of it. Kabaddi gets 40 crores as title sponsors. You all know what cricket is, you know what IPL is. IPL goes up to, you know what the BCCI rights are, which are regular cricket. You know what IPL goes up to. So the range is there from 200 crores to 440 crores. So I think financially, people, and again, if you look at the top 10 influencers, like PV Sindhu maybe done a great job. Mary Kom, names she took. But if you look at the top 10, the indexes which are put out by everyone, it's always cricketers all the way, you know. That's what it is. Film stars, maybe overpaid for whatever reason, but also cricketers all the way. So I think the reality is, and as, you know, because the finance engine works, so our desires may be separate. I mean, Boria is speaking passionately, but if you go to his website, because that's the nature of the beast, the nature of the commerce in this country is all linked to cricket. So if you go to his website, you will find a lot of emphasis on cricket, including his books. A lot of his books on cricket. So not to take anything away from him, but that's the thing. That has to change, undoubtedly. Will it change with one Olympics? Like my heart says, yes, it makes a lot of sense if we win 15 medals, all of them gold is preferable. Will it change dramatically? Not sure. Because it's such a well-oiled engine which runs around cricket, and the commerce of cricket and the ratings of cricket, that's difficult to change.
Okay, so if I can come in there, Gautam, again, the topic comes to IPL and the commercial viability of IPL. So say this now, change the topic to say, we in India love spectacle. Don't equate cricket and IPL. Say we love our spectacle. Go and give the same fellow who wants to go and watch an IPL game a ticket to an India-West Indies test match being played at Chepauk at 40 degrees centigrade heat. Will he go? Yes, no. We do not love our cricket. If we did love our cricket, we would have gone and watched Ranji Trophy. If we were serious about our cricket, we would have hosted Ranji Trophy. If we were serious about our cricket, we would have hosted the women's game. We in India do not love our cricket. We love our spectacle. Now coming to Olympic sports again, is it about financial numbers? Is that the index? Is it about financial numbers? No, it is not. There can be a reliance, but there are also small industries who are equally relevant, equally important. Is it about Bollywood or is it also about Indian classical music? Does it mean that there is a Shah Rukh Khan film, so there will not be a classical film? If there is a Karan Johar, will there not be a Satyajit Ray? If there is a popular filmmaker, will there not be an art filmmaker? Or are we not going to be pluralist society, consume multi-dimensional sport in every form and celebrate Indianness at the Olympic level? We will. If someone comes and tells me the IPL is the most popular tournament in India, of course it is. So what's the problem? If IPL gets me money, I am actually willing to take a share of that IPL money and put it into Olympic sport. If I get a little bit of that money and go and fund my Olympic sport, I am more than happy. The fact of the matter is my sport will be funded. In Tokyo, for the first time, we had 15 shooters qualified. First time. How did that happen? There is a structure. There are about 3,500, 4,000 crores that the government has put into the sports budget. And there is a concerted effort to making this country a multi-dimensional country. Between November and February, we consumed the ISL. There was a Mohun Bagan. There was an East Bengal. We in Calcutta love our football. And even if we are 140th, 150th, 160th, if you see the passion along with Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, it is still up there. Now, is it all about commerce? No, it is not. It is not. A Satyajit Ray film may not be watched or may not gross 150 crores like a Sultan, may not gross 100 crores like an Amir Khan blockbuster, but it will still get you the Oscar. It will still be a masterpiece. It will still be celebrated. We in Bengal, an election is going on. We keep talking about respect. Partho started with it. We keep talking about us being a civil, respectable, literary, cultured kind of people. That is what the other sports are. Doesn't mean, and I'm not denigrating any form. IPL is a great platform. It provides employment. It gives me living. It has made cricket what it is, etc., etc. That doesn't mean that is the only form of sport that exists in India. It is not. Women's cricket is as important. Men's national cricket as important. Age group as important. Olympic sport as important. Will we take it seriously? Are you going to say, oh, because 5 brands don't invest? No. These are not important. Who said so? Who has told you this? Who has told you that because the IPL gets you more money, it is more important than Olympic sport? It's not. Even if 10 people play it and I get 1 Olympic medal, that's for me, my India. And there is life. If that life is sucked by only a few thousand people or a few lakh people, how does it matter? It will forever be that classical music that I will go to bed with rather than that loudspeaker noise that will play during the Durga Pujas in Calcutta. So let's celebrate pluralism. Let's celebrate Indian sport if you're a sports lover. And if you want to say that you want only the IPL, say, I love my spectacle. I do not love sports. Say that and I will agree with you.
Can I respond, Gautam, for this?
Please respond. And we've got a question from a panelist, which we'll take after that. Shashi, please respond.
So two quick points, not very long. One is, I see how my friend Boria has converted this whole thing to IPL in a spectacle. So firstly, IPL in my mind is not a spectacle alone. It's also great cricket because you have the best players in the world participating. At any point in time, 80% of the best players in cricket, you get visibility. It's like saying EPL is a spectacle or La Liga is a spectacle. It's not. It's a great form of cricket and it's the ultimate form of cricket. And I believe cricket has done well in India because the players' confidence has come. The national team started doing well because all these individuals have exposure, which I'm saying the obvious to you. That's one. Secondly, it's not only IPL. Mind you, cricket itself, the national team doing so well. Look at the BCCI rights. Yes, I agree with Boria. My lens and my vision is looking at viewership, numbers, and the financial part of it. But that's reality. So if 200 crores is what is paid for sponsorship for the national team on for the full year when they play, that number is not matched by any other. I mean, not even 10% or 15% of it comes from any other sport. In spite of the government having a huge budget, it never comes out there. So these are 2 minor points. Sorry, what was the question you were asking me, Gautam?
I'll respond to that because he's just mentioned the Indian team and viability of Indian cricket. The Indian team, the national team, did not even have a title sponsor. Last time when the Nike deal ran out, please go and check. For a month and a half, we did not have a title sponsor before we went to Australia. So it is not about the national team. The women's team gets fed. Look at their central contracts and you will understand. They get what, 15 lakhs, 30 lakhs, where the men's team gets what, 7 crores. So let's not kid ourselves. You want to talk spectacle, I will buy it. You said cricket. IPL is not a spectacle. Okay, I'm answering that as well. IPL is not it's a first-rate spectacle. It is good cricket, but that does not make it less spectacle. Of course it is good cricket. It is a combination of cricket and entertainment of the best dose. So whatever anybody does, Lalit Modi should get an Oscar for that. The fact is, the IPL is the best example of spectacle, and we love our spectacles. Why do big weddings sell? We love our spectacles. We will go and dance, we will jump, we'll paint our faces, we'll say, "Arey, मैंने IPL final का ticket है मेरे पास. India England देखने जाओगे? नहीं जाऊंगा. क्यों नहीं जाओगे? Because वो तो खाली cricket है, entertainment थोड़ी है, music थोड़ी है, नाचा गाना थोड़ी है, चिल्ला मिल्ली थोड़ी है, नहीं है. So we love our spectacle, and I'm happy with that. Because see, my India is a plural India. There will be somebody who likes the IPL, but there will also be somebody who will go and watch an age group badminton competition in Hyderabad at the Gopi Chand Academy. Just because there are more people in that stadium with painted faces, for God's sake, do not undermine the few or those thousands or many who plays shooting or badminton or football. And by the way, 1 lakh for a Mohun Bagan East Bengal match or a derby in a stadium is no less a number. So for God's sake, let's not be myopic. Let us be pluralistic, because this platform, as we said, is a civil platform. And Shashi Sinha, and from where he is, he can make a difference by bringing in more money to the other sports. And by bringing in those, he will actually make my India less spectacle loving, more sport loving. At the moment, yes, IPL is dominant, but that does not make there is no life beyond cricket. Of course, there is. Forever there will be. Even if there is one Boria Majumdar out of 130 crore who loves multi-sport, I am as much an Indian as the rest of the 130 crores. So India deserves better. So do I.
Could not agree more. And I think the proposition you threw to Shashi Sinha, I'm sure he'd love to do it if he could. And the reason why he is not doing it is because of the struggles. And I'm coming to that question, which comes from Himadri Chakraborty, talking about idols in other sports. Is there a lack of enough sporting idols in other sports? And I'll come to both of you on that. I was going to make a point from my advertising background. Okay, we used to always be told, Shashi, Boria, and everyone else who may be from the ad background, that sex sells. And certainly we've seen, and not always taken literally. I once did take it very close to literally, and it kind of worked. It was for a mobile phone campaign many years ago when mobile phones first came in. And if you remember, it used to be very expensive. No matter who you were, you just didn't want to use it because it was 9 rupees 60 a minute incoming calls. First time any mobile phone operator in India introduced free incoming calls. It was a Calcutta operator. It was big news. What did I do as a copywriter? I said a line which said, free sex, call 98310, 98310, meaning SECS. So hence, free seconds. It worked, and it also didn't work because there were some people at the call center who got calls saying, Madam, how much? So that's a different matter altogether. But the fact is, the reason I'm equating it to our debate is you're talking about sex appeal among sporting idols. Himadri asks, are there enough sporting idols outside cricket? Now, that is the question we want to put at. We talk about young jerseys. I agree with you. We'd love to see the Olympic sports. How many Indians, if an Indian goes, he wants a Mumbai Indians jersey, he wants a Barcelona jersey, he wants a Manchester United jersey. Does he want a Mumbai FC jersey for the moment? I'm not sure. That's the question I'm putting out there. Do we have enough idols? Boria, I'll come to you first, then Shashi can respond.
Let me first say a very simple thing. When you open your TV set, and if you watch television, take an IPL match, because Shashi loves the IPL. I'll give that to him only. If you watch the number of ads, you will see Virat, Dhoni, Saurav. That's it. Rohit. Anybody else do you see? I don't.
And the teams.
Do you
Our
see?
sponsors all the teams, my friend.
So are you seeing he's asking me number of icons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chalo, 5 de do, 6 de do. Now I will go to my other sports. Do I see a PV Sindhu in ads? Open your social media. The answer is out there. Do you see a Mary Com? The answer is out there. Do you see Vijender Singh's boxing bouts get sold, professional boxing nights? The answer is out there. Check Goa. Gautam Bhimani has made money hosting them as well. Do you see Olympics getting sold? Do you see them getting sponsors? By the way, Shashi, the public sector has sponsored, even private sector has sponsored big time. People do go and watch the Olympic Games from India. Sports tourism is on the rise. Why do people consume? Because they want to go. They want to go. There is a golf clientele. There is a tennis clientele. And obviously things can get better. Of course, things can be. Is Sania Mirza still a sellable property? She's on the other side of her sporting career. She still is. Who lectures to Parliament today on International Sports Day? Sania Mirza does. So, and Gautam Bhimani referred to Nirmala Sitharaman. Shashi Sinha referred to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister also mentioned the shooting team and Mithali Raj's achievement. So, you know what? All I am saying is love your IPL. No problem. Also, please take note that other sports and other sporting icons are present there. Virat might have 21, Sindhu does have 5. There is life beyond cricket. Rohit might have 4, Dhoni might have 7, Mary does have 2 or 3 or 4. There is life beyond cricket. And the moment the Olympics happens, every conclave from my own house, ad club, everybody will say, "Arey, get that medal winner. Let's understand that story. A Deepa Malik is a household name. A Devendra Jhajaria, 400 rupees ka javelin, 300 rupees ka juta is a household name. Let's make a biopic." By the way, is happening. Please go and talk to these sports stars. All of their biopics are sold to broadcasters, as a result of which people like me have a problem, because they don't want to give interviews anymore, don't want to share their stories, because everything has been commercialized. So there is life beyond cricket. I will rest my case with the simple statement. There can be any number of IPLs. If there is a Mohun Bagan East Bengal game, everyone who is part of this show will either be a Mohun Bagan or an East Bengal. In their toilet seats, they will. It's like watching porn sitting in your toilet seat. You will watch it publicly. You will say, "Bekar hai. I will only watch EPL." You do, because fandom, Mr. Sinha. If I am a Shashi Sinha fan at the age of 6, my political preferences might change. I might love Mamta. I might love Modi. My sexual preferences might change. I might be transsexual, bisexual, straight. My food habits might change. My dress might change. Everything. My academics might change. My fandom doesn't. A Mary Com fan at the age of 6 will die a Mary Com fan at the age of 80. A multi-sporting fan will forever be a multi-sporting fan. There is life beyond cricket. Accept it.
Shashi, I'll come straight to you on the very topic of idols and enough idols, and are there enough idols in other sports pushing the cricketers the way they should be?
No, so that's absolute truth. The fact which Boria himself alluded to, that cricket picked up momentum. Cricket was the game played for, as Boria writes, for hundreds of years in this country. But 1983 did what it did to cricket in the country. So success shows, success obviously matters. And the fact that we have done so well in cricket over so many years, it's not once. I mean, tournament after tournament, we are there. We're a top 2 country in every respect. So I think there is no doubt your icons, because finally the Indian mindset and psychology is about towards winning. We see ourselves competing. Now, as Boria alluded, I mean, I like the example of Isman Mohan, 140 of the world of football. So it will change, to take Boria's side, if we have many more icons coming on who win at a national level. And people are demanding. People realize that a bronze won't do, or something else won't do. Your aspirations 5 years back were different. Today, cricket has shown the way. I mean, look at the youngsters who did better the last 2 tests at Gaba. So they want youngsters to do well. There's no shortcut. There's no second. There's no third. They want a winner. That's what it's going to be. So I hope and pray Boria is right, for the sake of the country, and for the sake. Just to add one more point in this, if you look at US, the fact that in US it's diverse and multi-sports, probably the best example of diversity. Again, I look at the numbers. 7 to 10% of viewership, unlike India, is on sports. About 10% is on sports, and it's divided amongst all sports. And they have their icons everywhere. So, so if every sport has an icon, they may not necessarily be truly global icons, because some of the sports are unique to them. American football, well, basketball is played elsewhere, but it's not as competitive. So I fully agree with you that you need icons, but India is very demanding, and they will want real winners. They will not want a bronze or whatever. They want the so who has to be so things are changing. So for the country, for the sake of the mentions. But unfortunately, it happens.
Interesting you should mention that. And Boria, the example of the baseball in the US, there was a time we used to always make fun of them, and I spent 4 years there in college. I used to make fun of all my friends, my US friends. I'm like, listen, the New York Yankees are playing the Toronto Blue Jays in the final of your domestic contest. You call it the World Series? Excuse me, but you've got to make fun of it, but you've got to give them credit for being able to take a dead horse almost and flog it like the World Series. What was the answer they gave me? Oh, Canada also takes part, so it is sort of very global in nature. So anyway, what we're going to do right now is we love rules and regulations, but sometimes we don't like them as well. So I'm going to change a rule slightly. This was unplanned. So for all of you out there, hold your horses. Just when you think Boria has given his final remarks or Shashi has had the final say, we're going to do something that we're not used to seeing in the debating world. It happened to me once a long time ago when I was a kid, but I won't bring that example up in school. I'm going to throw a challenge out at Shashi Sinha and Boria Majumdar. We have the proposition in front of us, and I'm going to use a line that I use, Boria, in your show, Babu Moshai, if you permit me. And I was asked on the show, what is your take or your sporting take on the Bengal elections? And I said it's a bit like the Chennai pitch we had recently, and a good spinner, a good off spinner bowling on that. Because as far as the batsman is concerned, everything is moving from left to right, and no, the batsman doesn't know what's happening. So that was a little cheeky take on the Bengal elections. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to move everything from left to right and right to left and reverse the roles. So gentlemen, in our last segment to wrap things up, for a little fun and games, Boria, I'm going to hand over the motion to you to speak for the topic. Shashi, you will have 3 or 4 minutes to think of how to speak against it.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. So here's my anecdote. One time a man died. Okay. So he goes to the gates of heaven, and there is a bouncer at the gates of heaven. So the man is going to be asked 3 things that he has done to prove how brave he is. If he is able to provide an answer which is acceptable, he will come into heaven. If he is not, then he will go to hell. So the man is told, come on, tell me, the field is open. So the man says, I was the only one in my village to have saved a woman from a tiger. Are aise bahut suna hai. I've heard this. Okay. So the bouncer turns, walks off. No, wait. I was the only one in my village. There was a cyclone. I saved many, many families. Okay, that's good. But again, we have had many such examples. So you please wait. We will consider your case. The bouncer turns, goes away. Wait. Yes. I was the only Indian to go to Pakistan and watch a cricket match between India and Pakistan. What? So the gates of heaven are all for you. That's what Indian cricket is all about. In the 1980s and 1990s, for 44 years, between 1952 and 96, we did not win a single Olympic medal. From Kashba Jadhav to Leander Paes, for 44 years, no individual Olympic medal. In the 1980s, 1990s, when I was a student, even later, and the world would tell us, yeah, India, does it even play sport? And we would say, yes, we have a Tendulkar. We would be thrown everything, an Australian team, a Roger Federer, a Pete Sampras, everybody at us. And our answer was, yes, we have a Sachin Tendulkar and an Indian cricket team that has gone to England in 1983 and has taken over Lords. We have brought an elephant into your domain in central London at the Oval on Ganesh Chaturthi Day. And that is what we are, and our cricket is about. So it is about Indian cricket. Always will be. At least for the foreseeable future, it will be. Once there is an Olympic Games, we will wake up. But like Abhinav Bindra says, an Olympic Games is not every 4 years, it comes every day. That saying will remain restricted on the walls of Abhinav Bindra's high performance center in Chandigarh. The moment you come out of that center, like that aim that he takes at the shooting range, your aim has wavered, and that aim will go to the IPL, to your cheerleaders, to the gyrations, to everything on television. You will consume cricket and IPL and the spectacle and forget about everything else that there lies in this country.
You have a very powerful argument in favor of Indian cricket, and the fact that even someone as focused as Abhinav Bindra, when it's beyond those 4 walls and just outside that target, will be looking, all eyes will be on Indian cricket. The gates of heaven will open for you if you can watch an India-Pakistan match across the Wagah border. There is so much to be said. Shashi Sinha, come to the rescue of other sports. I'm going to throw an example of you. There is a young lady called Bala Devi, who I had the pleasure of speaking to, who, it's a wonderful story, but she is the Lone Ranger, every pun intended.
Okay. Ask Shashi, who is Murlikant Petkar?
Good question. So I'll give you an answer which is slightly more, as has been my want all through, to give large numbers out. So while
But
these anecdotes are very
before you
interesting,
do it, let me throw my example, finish it, and throw it at you. The reason I mentioned Bala Devi was it's a wonderful, heartwarming story. But how long will our hearts keep being warmed? Because she plays for the Glasgow Rangers. But does it mean that everybody else, every young girl today, is asking for a Glasgow Rangers t-shirt? We wish they are asking for, but is it getting there, or are we still wearing those Mumbai Indians t-shirts?
so I was getting there. So I'll tell you the point, and again I'll give an answer while Boria done a very good job of giving a passionate individual examples, which is very good. But having said that, I mean, who would not want to go and see a game of Indian Pakistan across the Wagah border? But having said that, let me tell you this: if you look at the big metros, if you look at Bombay, Delhi, Kolkata to a certain extent, Bangalore, if you look at boys between the age of 15 to 25, the future of the country, and India is a young country, and enough data points and enough research shows it, they're off wicket. They're looking at alternate sports, rightly or wrongly. Football features because global sports are there. India is becoming, because of television, with a global economy, people are watching. The aspirations are there, and they're saying, so why not? Why can't I follow? You know, you yourself said, look at the Man U following, look at the Liverpool following. So you say, listen, this is what's happening. So alternate sports are being picked up. Then similarly, global sports will come in. So NBA is coming into India. Alternate, multiple sport options are there. So people have come to the conclusion, yes, on one side we want icons, which hopefully the Olympics, as Boria said, will provide. And I was glad when he said that there are at least 15 medal hopefuls. But having said that, even you don't necessarily need icons. You're saying, listen, now today I have a globals, so I am looking at Messi. Why should I look at football? India will never become better than 145. We will be a Ronaldo or a Messi or whatever. So you see this trend, and I'm sure you're seeing it amongst the kids of the metros. So while cricket is absorbing people from small town India, what they call the Dhoni effect, but if you look at other sports, look at basketball, look at girls. What are young girls 15 to 25 playing? They're not looking interested in cricket. Their mothers may be watching IPL, but they themselves are not interested. They're into football, they're into basketball, they're into tennis, all kinds of sports. So I think there's a change happening. I think on one side, icons, as we mentioned, there'll be more and more icons, but not necessarily true. The globalization of sport, advent of television, social media will ensure that global sport comes into India and our people are following that. That's my submission.
Now, Gautam, my final point, very simple. Cricket has so much money. Humbly, I've written a book for the 1971 team that won the 2 victories in England and West Indies. For God's sake, Abid Ali is still suffering. Everybody is suffering from that team. If you talk to them, financial anxiety, monetary problems, no money for healthcare, etc., etc. For God's sake, support that team. Read the book, because it's a leadership lesson when India did not have anything. Read the book to feel motivated. And if you can, support them.
Please give out the name also for our viewers. It's a lovely book.
The name of the book is 1971, The Beginning of India's Cricketing Greatness. It's coming out on the 20th of April by HarperCollins.
Yes, we look forward to it. I know you've mentioned advance orders are already possible. It was a wonderful time. I hope the elephant in the room or elephant is mentioned sufficiently, because it's the image that we remember, and it led to so much. Well before, as I said, the elephant in the room came in 2007 in the form of the IPL. But it's been wonderful. I want a 30-second wrap, gentlemen, from both of you. But this time you go back to your original avatars, right? We are in the process. We are trained now to wear masks for the last 1 year. So, Boria, you have to again remove one mask, put on another mask, put on your original mask as being against this topic. Shashi, you go first. 30 seconds to wrap up where we are, and then we'll have the final words or what we
As a
and
sports
then
lover, so,
following discussion.
yeah. So I'm saying that and the reality is commerce and numbers, and commerce changes numbers. Finally, people look at their numbers. Is for cricket. Cricket defined as IPL, including international cricket where India plays. So that's reality. Nothing to take away from that. I mean, numbers don't lie; they tell a story. Having said that, since there's meant to be a civil debate, I genuinely believe what Boria says is right. That as we have more and more icons coming in, as I said earlier, globalization of sports happen. We only hope and pray that on this International Sports Day that many other sports take off, because it's not a zero-sum game. It's not about cricket losing at the cost of something else. There'll be overall growth. Like I gave the example of US, 10%, 12% viewership. It comes from across sports. So that should happen to India, and everyone will gain in that. It's not limiting. So that's my submission.
His final point, We would love to have much more life beyond cricket. Hopefully, it'll come in future, maybe starting with Tokyo. For now, the house still believes there is no life beyond cricket. Boria, your final thought on that?
I'm not a numbers man. Sport is about emotion. It was never about numbers. I'm a liberal arts person. I'm a social scientist. I watch sport for the sake of sport, to enjoy, to love, to feel committed, to feel motivated, to feel inspired. And when I see PV Sindhu standing atop that Olympic podium, when I see a Devendra Jhajaria, when I see a Manu Bakar day before yesterday, when I see a Saurabh Chowdhury, I feel inspired. When India will walk in that Tokyo March Past, whatever form that is, I will feel my country is there, right out there. One medal from boxing, wrestling, shooting, badminton, any sport gives me the same sense of goosebumps that cricket does when I stand with hand on my heart listening to the national anthem. Sport is not about numbers. If it was, then sport would lose what sport is all about. There are no retakes. Sport is all here in the heart. That's why Mohammad Siraj with that flag at the Gabba, or Mary Kom at the Asian Games, or PV Sindhu at the Olympic Games will forever be picture postcards. And as you can see, the three examples are three different sports. There is life beyond cricket, forever will be.
I think we've had wonderful, wonderful points from both sides. I just hope no fashion designer is listening and make sure we have a place over here where the wallet is kept, because the two things can't matter. Let the heart be here, let the wallet remain where it remains, and the twain needs to meet at some point in time. Before I call upon Partha and Rana possibly to say a final vote of thanks, I'd just like to leave you with the thought, taking bites from what both Shashi Sinha and Boria Majumdar have said. There is sport coming up very shortly. It's up to you to choose what you will watch. Because interestingly, if you look at the next three big events on the world calendar, which are relevant to India, it's the IPL starting in 3 days' time. It's India versus India versus New Zealand in Southampton in the month of June, and then the Olympics in Tokyo. It's all up for grabs. You can go and watch it all. The question is, where will there be the most life? And I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The definition of civil debate. Who said in civil debate there can't be banter? Who said in civil debate there can't be jibes? Who said in civil debate there can't be, high decibel of argument? Everything was there, but everything was handled with such a lot of poise and tact. So thank you, Gautam, for being such a wonderful moderator. Thank you, Boria and Shashi, for being such passionate speakers and holding on to a point, albeit not for about a minute each, but for holding on to your points and giving us a very interesting perspective. And I hope everybody who has taken time out and joined here would have enjoyed this show. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Debu and Rana, for putting together this show. Thank you, Bipin, for your support. And thank you, Kingfisher, for supporting this event. So my heartfelt thank you to all of you who have joined this debate. And we can promise from Ad Club that there would be more such evenings. There would be different topics, and there would be many more events to look forward to. Please have a great evening. Please have a safe evening and have a safe month. Thank you very much.
So